chop some trees. You guys want to know about logging? Well, my name is Devin Williams, and I'll tell you guys all about logging. So, for logging, what we had to do for this assignment, we had to message someone in charge, someone who knows about logging, someone who's been doing logging. And you know who I messaged? The owner of Larry and Sons Logging Company, a 6th generation logging company. And I messaged earlier today, I sent an email to Larry himself, Larry Reedhead. If you ever need logging, that's who you search up. And you know, for this assignment, I kind of had to ask him. Where was his favorite spot when it comes to logging? Back when he was young, or even now? And he told me back in the day, it was the woods of Arizona. More specifically, the Maserati woods of Arizona. Then, after he told me about the Maserati, beautiful place, beautiful trees, I kind of asked him a bunch more questions. I said, what kind of trees did you log the most? And what were your favorite kind of trees to log? He said pine, spruce, birch, even oak. But then, the next question I have for Mr. Larry Reedhead was, what does he use the trees for? Because throughout my essays and throughout my research of logging, I've seen many misconceptions that logging is something that it's not. Most people think that loggers go in and loggers, they just cut down the entire forest, they go and they leave. That's not true. So I asked him about it. I asked him what he uses the timber for, the lumber for, all the wood, the branches, as you see, trees like the one behind me. He said he uses the sawdust for bedding such as like in sawmills, bedding such as something for horses to lay on in their cribs. Then you got the little pieces of wood, they're for playgrounds. They're called playground chips. Then I asked him, okay, what do you use the lumber for? And I'm talking the big old pieces of lumber. He said he uses them for building houses. He said he uses them for, support beams. You want to walk by, like the Dixie State University place, HBC. There's wood in that. They use wood in the beams. They use more so steel and iron, but they also use wood to kind of support it. But then I asked him, the next question I have, what advice would this 83-year-old retired logger give someone such as myself, a young 20-year-old man? He said, don't do it. He looked me in the eyes and he said, don't do it. Logging is not a job for everyone. Logging is a job for only those who are really dedicated, really care about it, and are willing to spend the rest of their lives logging. And not just spend the rest of their lives, but to teach their kids, their sons and their daughters, and teach their grandkids. And I asked him more about that. He said, I asked why. He said it just takes way too long. It takes way too long for people to understand how to use the machines, such as a sawmill, such as a shredder, such as a jigsaw, and then even a chainsaw. Sometimes you can get someone who can really mess something up with a chainsaw. But the next question I asked Mr. Larry Reedhead was, how do you know what trees to cut down? How do you know what trees to get rid of? And he said to me, well, the Forest Service people, they're the ones who are in charge of cutting down trees. They're the ones who are in charge of picking which trees to get rid of. And what they do is they go to the forest, they look at what trees are the most unhealthy for the forest, maybe some that have roots that are, got in a little bit of oil, maybe some that are just full of fire ants, maybe some that are full of bugs that just tear through wood. And he said the Forest Service people, they will mark a tree down like the tree that's right behind me, and they will say, okay, loggers, chop this tree down. We go in, we clear out all and every tree that is unhealthy for the forest. That will make the forest bad. We go in, and we don't clear out all the trees like some people think. We just clear out some of them. But I asked him, what's the worst time? This is the last question. I asked him what is the worst experience, actually the worst and best experience he's ever had with logging. The best experience he's ever had was one to where he raised his sons, his 5 sons. He raised them all to be loggers. A few of them are still loggers to this day. And then he seemed pretty good at it. And then he said the worst experience was, you know, tragedy can always happen. You know, you lose someone on your team. You know, you chop down the wrong tree and a bunch of fire ants come at you. Told me a story about that. It doesn't sound fun. But my name is Devin Williams. That's the environmental benefits of logging.